السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
معذور إن شاء الله.
Thank you.
Well, I have a question related to yesterday's discussion.
Yes.
That I remember today. When we say Allah khaliq kull shay, the khaliq of everything, does that include also the issues that we are having, the viruses, the wrong things in this world? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Can you repeat the question? It broke up a little bit.
I think they have a problem with my sound quality. Is that better?
Now it's fine.
So the question is, we know Allah khaliq kull shay. He is the khaliq of everything. Kull shay. Shay could be everything. Our thoughts could be shay, or physical things we see in this world is shay. Anything that exists. So with that in mind, how do we explain the issue of that all these bad things that are around us are not from Allah? How do you respond to that?
Ahsan. There's an ayah in the Holy Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in fact addresses this issue, and it's a very interesting ayah because as a if you receive it would be confusing. It may look like it is actually because one
Malana, your connection keeps going in and out. We can't hear you
as well. Let me try and
okay. Can't hear you. Right now you have no voice.
Is it fine now?
It's fine now.
Okay. Brother Sayyid, before I go into the answer, this says recording, but it doesn't say YouTube. Normally, I think it says YouTube. Is that how it's meant to be?
For right now, it's recording, but inshallah,
I just wanted to know how.
Yeah, we'll have it on YouTube shortly as well.
No, inshallah, I'll learn more about it later on, inshallah.
Sure.
So back to the question, there is again the ayah in Surah An-Nisa. We recited those set of ayat. Ayah 78 of Surah An-Nisa says in the end, towards the end of the ayat, or that particular ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whenever something good happens, they say this is from God. Whenever something evil happens, they say this is from you, referring to the Prophet. Tell them everything is from God. قُلْ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then amazingly, he says, فَمَا لِهَؤُلَاءِ الْقَوْمِ لَا يَكَادُونَ يَفْقَهُونَ حَدِيثًا. What is wrong with these people? It is almost like they cannot comprehend a speech. Then he says, he clarifies, whatever is good that happens to you, whatever goodness happens to you is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever evil happens to you is from your own self. Therefore, we have to now combine the two. One ayah says, كُلُّ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Allahu khaliqu kulli shay. He created everything. He has power over all things. In fact, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. There is no power without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, not a single person can do anything without the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without the power that He has given on the formative level, without on the level of the formation or the takween, we call it. When He created the universe, He created it in such a way. He gave people the abilities. He gave certain things, certain energies. And so this is from Him. In fact, He can at any time seize that. It is not that since He gave it at that level, He cannot interfere. No, He has power over it. He can seize that. Therefore, on the one level, everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything that happens, that He allows it. Without Him, it doesn't happen. That's one. On the other level, whatever good happens to you is from Him. Because nobody can say, I deserve good. He created us. It's like a child who says to his parents, I deserve to be rewarded. You know, they brought him to this world. They nurtured him. They're doing everything for him. They're feeding him. They're sending him to school. He comes back with his certificate and his report card, and he says, look how well I did. I deserve to be rewarded. Well, you're doing good. It's good for yourself. And ahsantum li anfusikum. When you do good, you do it for yourself. Therefore, nobody can say now on a higher level, nobody can say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I deserve goodness. Therefore, goodness is from Him. Ma asabaka min hasanatin famin Allah. And because He is all beauty, all goodness, all mercy, all grace, all the fadl, He is all of those. He only wants to give good. He allows, however, because when He created insan, when He created mankind, when He created Adam, He created him in such a way that he can make his own decisions. We can make our own decisions and therefore suffer the consequences or enjoy the consequences. It's up to us. Therefore, if it is hasana, if the consequences are good, it's because of the grace and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If something bad happens, it's the result of our actions. Now you might say, well, what about the righteous people, Ahlul Bayt salawatullah wa salamu alayhim? What about them, something bad happening to them? Whatever happens to them in terms of the what we call misfortune is not evil. Evil is when we fail the test. Imam Ali alayhi salam heard a man saying, oh Allah, I seek refuge to you from fitan, from tests. He says, no, don't say that. Or he was praying for somebody, he said, Ya Allah, protect him from fitan. He says, da'awta alayhi bil maut. You prayed that he dies. Because as long as he's living in dunya, there will be fitna. There will be trials. There will be difficult trials, in fact. Say, Allahumma, oh Allah, protect him from mudillatul fitan, from the kind of trials that may lead him astray. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to, in other words, protect him from failing in his tests. If we fail in our test and we do the wrong thing, we suffer the consequences. If we are righteous and somebody is doing something bad to us, it is bad in the worldly sense, but it's in its reality, it is not bad. It's helping us ascend. On the one hand, we are ascending through our patience, through our faith. We are ascending, inshallah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our spiritual journey. And that person, through their act of sinful act, mischief making, oppression, whatever it is that they're doing, they are going down in that sense. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you, Mulana. Ahsant.
Ahsan Allah ilayk. I think that's the time for the discussion that we continue the series, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. مؤمنين مؤمنات, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our prayers, accept our fasting, and accept our recitation of the Holy Quran in this holy month, and accept us as guests of the Merciful One in this holy month, in this month of mercy. Back to the discussion that we have started from the beginning of the month on how we can gain the passport over the Sirat, how we can get permission or the ability to pass over the bridge between Sahra al-Mahshar, the desert of resurrection, and paradise that goes over the hellfire, in fact. Now, how exactly it works, how long it is, we don't know those details. How it looks exactly, we don't know. What we can understand is that it is a very difficult journey. It is not an easy journey, and it does require a lot of hard work. And one of the best things that we could do, especially in this month, according to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, "Man hassana fihi minkum fihi khuluqa." Whoever, أيها الناس, من حسن منكم في هذا الشهر خلقا. Whoever improves in his akhlaq in this month, in his ethics, in his morals, he will gain the passport over the Sirat. And we said akhlaq resides in the heart. Akhlaq refer to the reason behind, or the incentive or the intention behind our actions, behind the behavior. So the behavior that displays itself in our words, in our actions, how we do or not do certain things, all of that, it comes from the heart, that either is a purified heart, therefore leads to good deeds, or it's not purified heart, and therefore, God forbid, it leads to evil deeds. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Therefore, we need to purify the heart. In order for us to become better in our akhlaq, it starts from the heart. One could fake certain things on the appearance. However, if one wants to be genuine and get to the level of real improvement in their akhlaq, they have to purify the heart. If we don't, a diseased heart, in fact, leads to our destruction. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept from a heart that is not pure, not clean. We also mentioned that it's important that we gain knowledge in order for us to make sure we are not doing the wrong things, we are not oppressive to anybody. We need to gain knowledge and learn our responsibilities, learn our duties towards others around us. I mentioned the hardening of the heart as one of the diseases that we need to purify from, and it's in actual fact, I started with that because it is the one that blocks any guidance. If one's heart is hardened, it basically, that heart cannot get guidance. It does not allow one to see, it does not allow one to hear or comprehend the message and the reminders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Messenger, and the Imams and the awliya, the scholars who are reminding us. We will not be able to hear it, we will not be able to comprehend it if we have a heart that is hardened. Therefore, we need to soften the heart. We spoke of some of the remedies to soften the heart. Reflection, perhaps one of the first, in fact, to seek forgiveness, because what hardens the heart are the sins, and therefore we soften it first and foremost with seeking forgiveness, and then reflecting, and then good deeds, being generous, being good, being caring towards others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be the agents on earth. Therefore, we need to act and do the things that He likes us to do. The hungry, He wants us to feed in dua. One of the taqibat in the month of Ramadan, we recite, Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. Oh Allah, bring pleasure and happiness to the people of the graves. Allahumma aghni kulla faqir. Oh Allah, suffice every poor. Oh Allah, fulfill the hunger of every hungry. Oh Allah, cover and help clothe the one who does not have the clothes, the naked one. All of those things that we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if they are sincere, if they are genuine, if they're stemming from a heart that really wants these good things to happen for everybody, because we're saying every, kulla faqir, kulla ja'a, kulla uryan. If we really care for all the hungry, all the poor, it should show itself in our actions. Otherwise, that dua is fake. We need to be concerned, at least when we say this dua, say it genuinely, that we care for people. And that caring would lead to softening of the heart. Also, caring for orphans specifically, wiping over the head of orphans, it's mentioned in the riwayat. In other words, not just feeding them and giving them money, rather showing them love and affection. Also, the gatherings of ulama, scholars. It is one of the ahadith, or some of the ahadith mentioned that one of the remedies for softening the heart is to sit in gatherings of scholars and listen to words of reminders and words of advice. Then we came to another disease, or another two diseases that led Shaitan alayhi la'inullah, led him to disobey a clear and direct order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Iblis disobeyed, and therefore he was thrown out of the realm of nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the realm that we are hoping to get through our prayers, through our fast. All of these things we do qurbatan ila Allah. We fast qurbatan ila Allah. We pray qurbatan, or at least this should be the intention. Inshallah, we do it qurbatan ila Allah, not showing off or any other reason, not qurbatan ila aba'ina wa ajdadina, that we are doing it to complete the perhaps in the footsteps of our fathers and grandparents and ancestors. That should not be the reason why we pray and fast. It should be to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they were good and were close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then all well and good, we continue that, but not getting in the wrong direction. Basically, they become the reason. So if we are doing things qurbatan ila Allah, we need to understand what happened to one who was qareeb, who was near and was thrown out. And two characteristics, or two faults, major faults and diseases that he had, that he did not purify from, were what led him to that disobedience, act of disobedience and rebelliousness. One was jealousy, which we spoke of last night. We spoke how severe is that disease of jealousy in the heart, and how we need to purify the heart from it, and realize that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided that someone has something that I don't have, someone has knowledge that I don't have, someone has wealth that I don't have, someone has a family that I don't, anything that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided and decreed that they have it, we need to realize it is through His wisdom. Therefore, we can never question that. Us thinking, why him, not me, is questioning the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a level of kufr that we need to purify from that, inshallah. Tonight, the other perhaps disease that shaitan had, and it led him to that act of disobedience, which in fact in the Holy Quran that particular term is used. The jealousy is deduced. We understand that jealousy was there through his words, through him saying, him realizing that Adam ala nabina wa alayhi salam was chosen, not him. Therefore, he reacted in the way he reacted. Imagine that khilafah, and this is the part that perhaps I did not discuss last night, but it's important that we reflect on that. That if that status, if that state, if that wealth, if that blessing, whatever it is, if that didn't exist, hasud doesn't feel anything. A jealous person doesn't have that feeling without it existing. As soon as that comes up, out of a sudden, a heart that is not pure, that has jealousy, that has not purified from jealousy, out of a sudden starts basically shaking or shivering, worrying. Who is it going to be for? It better be for mine. Okay. Almost like little children, and if you have little children and you see them, how they behave when something is there. If it wasn't there, they're playing. Something comes, next thing they found a reason to fight. Why? Why him? Why not me? Why her? Why not me? And so on. So Iblis, when that came, which was what? Khilafah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Why not me? So that was his jealousy. If it wasn't there, he wouldn't. He would rather the entire thing not be there. Adam not to be there, the Khilafah not to be there, the earth not to be there, nothing to be there. Just so that he does not miss out on something, on that position or whatever blessing it is. We need to understand that that's the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we need to accept it. Next thing is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran is the kibr. إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ. Iblis, he refused and he was arrogant. And therefore, he was amongst the non-believers, amongst the non-appreciative ones of the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not deny the Creator. He knows. In fact, in the Quran, through his words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in the words of when he disbelieves, he says that.
Molana, sorry to interrupt, but your audio is getting broken. The internet is slowing down big time.
Okay, let me see. Also, I noticed that the YouTube thing is not there. I'm not sure if
Much better now.
I'm not sure if it's been broadcasted or it's recorded and he wants to broadcast it later. Not sure. Said, are you with us?
Yeah, inshallah. I apologize. We'll have it broadcasted up later.
You want to do it afterwards?
We'll load it. It's recording, so we'll load the recording, inshallah.
Okay, Ahsan, no problem. Sorry. Okay, so back to the kibr, this disease that he had, and again, we're speaking of him, and sometimes we go on and on with cursing him, blaming him, yet if we have not purified, I don't see us being better. In fact, some humans got to places that is worse than his position. They were named as Aduwullah, the enemy of God. One of them is Fir'aun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Aduwwul li wa aduwwullah, to the mother of Musa ala nabina wa alayhi salam, that his enemy and my enemy. Therefore, Fir'aun is an enemy of God. And there are people who reach that level due to lack of purification. And again, due to one of the diseases here is kibr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, most of these tyrants, Fir'aun and the likes, he says it's their kibr that led them to that position. Their arrogance. Them thinking that they are better than others. Shaitan or Iblis, he says, Ana khayrun min. His first statement is, I am better than him. Him believing, thinking that he's better is in fact what led him to disobedience and led him to the punishment, the fact that he was thrown out of the realm of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the realm of nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You look at the ayat of the Holy Quran regarding arrogance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one ayah in Surah Ghafir, he says, الَّذِينَ يُجَادِلُونَ فِي آيَاتِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ سُلْطَانٍ أَتَاهُمْ كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَعِنْدَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كَذَلِكَ يَطْبَعُ اللَّهُ على كل قلب متكبر جبار. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seals over the heart of every arrogant and one who is acting with oppression, or acting as a dictator, acting as one who has an upper hand on other people, dominating and trying to harm other people that are under him. In another ayah, again in Surah Al-A'raf in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, سَأَصْرِفُ عَنْ آيَاتِ الَّذِينَ يَتَكَبَّرُونَ. Those who are arrogant, I will turn my signs away from them. In other words, they will not be able to hear or see or understand these signs. بغير في الأرض بغير الحق. In another ayah, he says, فَالَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ مُنْكِرَةٌ وَهُمْ مُسْتَكْبِرُونَ. Those who do not believe in Akhirah, their hearts deny and they are arrogant. Those people who are, and here I want to start with the how arrogance starts. Arrogance on one level against people around, family members, relatives, community members, people who are peers basically. Next thing comes someone as pure and as purified as a prophet of God. Infallible characters, prophets. To that level, they still have arrogance, thinking they are better than them. You read in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in the words of those arrogant ones, أَهَؤُلَاءِ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ بَيْنِنَا. These people, we know them, they're from us. Why did these ones God favored from amongst us? In other words, they don't want to take that because they feel I am better. We are better than them. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the words of these people again, the oppressive people, He says, أَنُؤْمِنُ لِبَشَرَيْنِ مِثْلِنَا. Do we believe in two humans like us? In the story of Musa wa Harun. In the story of other prophets, إِنْ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُنَا. You are humans like us. How could you be given a better position? So here you see the signs of jealousy in it, and you see the signs of arrogance. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَوْلَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْنَا الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَوْ نَرَى رَبَّنَا لَقَدْ اسْتَكْبَرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. They say, we don't want to accept their message. We will not accept their message. They're like us. Unless we see God, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, or the malaika are descend upon us, or they started the order. Either the malaika have to descend upon us, the angels, or we see God. Otherwise, we will not accept. Then he says, لَقَدْ اسْتَكْبَرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. This is a result of that kibr that is in themselves, within themselves, in their hearts. That kibr that is within them led them to وَعَتَوْا عُتُوًّا كَبِيرًا. Led them to extreme denial and extreme disobedience or rebelliousness. In the narrations, you see, and here we're looking again at them starting with denial or with feeling better or having that arrogance or kibr against people around them. I am better than people around me. A messenger comes, he can't be better than me. God should have chosen me. I should have been revealed to. I should see the malaika. Istikbar. Arrogance. To the point that these people, they have istikbar against, wal-ayadu billah. This is the part that is scary. If we do not clean the heart from kibr, it has no limits. It would go all the way to have kibr against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You say, is that possible? Fir'aun, he saw miracles. He saw, in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought 9 ayat, as he calls them in the Holy Quran, 9 miracles for him and his people. The staff, the hand of Musa alayhi salam, dama wal qummala wal dafada'a, the blood that filled the Nile, the bugs that came and filled the city, the frogs that filled the city, the death that came upon them, a death that came and they had to protect, the believers had to protect their homes with certain sign that they put on their homes, that it came and basically bypassed them and killed so many of Al Fir'aun. All of these things, were they sufficient? Perhaps those signs could have been similar to what we are seeing today, the pandemic, how the disease spread and they were dying, Al Fir'aun were dying, and the believers had to put marks on their doors and stay in their homes, and they were, alhamdulillah, safeguarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to safeguard all the believers in this pandemic that we're going through, and guide humanity to deserve His protection, inshaAllah, and to deserve the removal of this adab, or this trial that we are all going through. Therefore, you'll find that these people, they get to the level, again, Fir'aun saw all these ayat. He got to the level that he says, Ana rabbukum al-a'la. I am your greatest God or Lord. These rivers, they flow beneath me. He says to Haman, put a tower for me, build a tower for me. I want to see Ilah Musa, the God of Musa. Challenge here. To that level. This is where the ana, if we allow this, that feeling that I am better, it gets one to the level of Fir'aun, that he says, I am the greatest God. There is no limit in that sense. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, La yadkhul al-jannata. Today I mentioned that. Whoever has the tiniest bit of kibr in his heart, mithqalu habbatin min khardal. Basically the size of a mustard seed of kibr, if they have that in their heart, they will not be admitted to paradise. Who are they? من تعظم في نفسه واختال في مشيته. He walks the walk of arrogant, and he thinks within himself that he is so big and so high. Such a person will not see paradise. He also says, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا ينظر الله إلى رجل يجر إزار. This is again, he says, bataran. A man who wears, they used to, back in the day, maybe today we have a different form of that. They used to, the rich would wear very long clothing that would drag on the floor. You may see that in certain weddings or whatever. That to them was a sign of them being of a higher class, them being rich, and that was a sign of basically when they walk like that, it's an arrogant walk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at those people. He also says, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, kibriya, that level of pride, the highest pride belongs to me. Ridai. Whoever wants to challenge me on that, I will send them to the hellfire, to the fire of hell. Many riwayat about the fact that one who allows kibr to remain in their heart will not be admitted to paradise. There are levels, however, in kibr. I want to try and get to some remedies, inshallah, if we can. There are some levels of kibr, and that's what we need to, again, the more we understand, the more we can purify, the more we can help ourselves purify from those diseases, inshallah. There are three main levels of kibr. One level at the worst, if we start from the worst, is that one has arrogance in their heart. They allow it on their tongue, and they allow it in their actions. You see it clearly. They have no hesitance. It is very clear and displays itself in the way they speak, displays itself in the way they walk, they behave. Mashyat al-khuyala, in the hadith, that they walk with their as they say, their nose up. They walk with the chests puffed up. In Arabic, in some dialect, they say to the earth, you need to be firm enough. I'm walking on you here. Nobody can be as firm as I am. Basically, he thinks he's so powerful, so mighty, and better than everything and anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, إِنَّكَ لَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ طُولًا. You will not be as tall as mountains. Mountains are made of the same material that you and I are made of, or we are made from them in essence. And you cannot be taller than mountains. You cannot have a voice as loud as a donkey. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in the words of Luqman, when he's advising his son, Inna ankara al-aswati la sawtu al-hamir. Why are you arrogant? Why do you think so highly of yourself? It displays itself in their actions and how they behave. Another level would be when they feel that they are better than others. They have kibr in their hearts. They may speak about it, but they do not allow it to go, basically to reflect itself in their actions. And then you have those who are at the lowest level, it's still there in their heart. I am better, I am more significant. However, they do not allow it to display itself in their words or their actions. That's definitely the better level. However, we need to get rid of that as well. That is still a disease. Yes, we are not seeing, it's almost like saying, okay, we have this COVID-19, it causes on the worst extreme levels, it causes severe problems or respiratory problems and so on. Less level, you still get hospitalized and whatever else. And then you have the lowest, which is very mild symptoms, but they are very dangerous. First of all, one becomes dangerous for others around them. And that kind of a person who has not purified their heart is still feels within themselves, within their heart, they feel like they are better than others. They still carriers of this disease of kibr that we seek refuge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from keeping that disease in our hearts. So what do we do? How do we get rid of that? First of all, before I go into the remedies, a question. And this is something we need to really pay attention to. Do I believe that I have arrogance in my heart? This is a question I have to ask myself. Every one of us should ask that question from themselves. Ask yourself that question. Do I have arrogance in my heart? And don't allow your nafs to immediately say, no, you're okay. Then look for symptoms. Look at your peers. A good test is that you look at people around you. Do you think you're better than them, or do you think they could be better than you? Very simple question. A simple test, simple question. People around you, do you think you're better than them or they're better? SubhanAllah, we have a riwayah that one of the prophets, now it's slipped my mind which one of them, in a story that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to him, find in the creation one that is, or something that is less significant than you. And so he went looking and looking and looking. Eventually he came back, he said, I could not find Ya Allah. He could not find something, and he is a prophet of God. Yet he says, I could not find. Comes to us, we could easily list thousands of people who we think were better than them. That is arrogance. You may say to me, well, wait a second. They may really be, in a sense, we might look at them and see losers, for example. In the spiritual sense, I'm not speaking of the monetary value, how much they're worth and how much I'm worth and how much you're worth. None of that is our discussion. Here, in the spiritual sense, he's a sinner. We'll come to that, inshallah. I want you to just ask yourself that one question. How many people do you think you are better off, better than? How many people do you think they're less important than you, less significant than you, they're worse than you? Or do you think that they exist? Or do you think anyone exists? And this is another. Do you think anyone exists that is better than you? That is another extreme. Or do you think you're the best? Do I think I'm the best? If we think we are, then we have arrogance in our heart, and we need to clean it. This is a journey, and it's not easy. It is definitely not easy. It's a journey that one needs to get better and better in that. In one of the ahadith, we are told that no one's, I believe it's from Imam Rida alayhi salam, he says, no one's intellect would be complete unless they have 10 characteristics. He lists 9, and this is not my discussion here. He says the 10th, and how would you know what the 10th is? In other words, he's putting a lot of emphasis on that this is a key. Then he says the 10th one is that never would this person look at someone unless he would say he is better than me. That is the complete intellect, perfect intellect. لا يكمل عقل امرئ. His aql will not be complete unless he gets to that level that he looks at anyone, he says, he is better than me. We need to work on that. In order for us to get rid of the arrogance in our heart, we need to constantly ask ourselves that question. And therefore, if it is still there, remind ourselves that we could be very much mistaken. And I'll come to now the remedies. We have some as a theory and some as practical remedies. First, the theory. The first one is we need to reflect on the ayat and riwayat. Again, reflection, tafakkur. Tafakkur is in every one of those, or every one of the remedies for any of the diseases. Tafakkur is there, reflection. Think and reflect. Think and reflect on the ayat that we recited, the riwayat that we shared about this disease of arrogance. Think about the fact that we could be thrown out of the realm of the nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever we earned in terms of good deeds, it would get nullified, rejected, and we would be told there is no place for you in my paradise. You were challenging my pride. This, if we reflect on that, then we realize how much we need to work on ourselves. The second one is a realization. To realize, and this is very important. I mentioned that one's aql is not complete unless they realize, or they would say to themselves, whenever they see anyone, he's better than me. So the question is, what if he's a sinner? The answer is, are you aware of what's inside him and what led him to what he is in? Do you know what he is exposed to and what he was exposed to, and his level of aql is the same as yours? Number one. Do we know these things? Are you aware of what he has as good in him that may be hidden? You look at someone and he might not show so much goodness. Do you know that he could be wali from awliyaullah, one who is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you know that that could be the case? Do we not know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hides his awliya amongst people? That is one. Do we realize that things are only significant and only count at the end? as they say, they don't count the chooks until they hatch, yeah? جوجه ها را آخر پاییز میشمارن, as they say in Farsi. You don't know where he is going to or she is going to end up being and where I am going to end up being. Perhaps people like Umar ibn Sa'd, la'natullah alayh, at his level of connection, he was the son of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Sa'd was a Sahabi, had a status. Sa'd was one of those who was writing. He was one of the scribes, one of those who wrote the wahi, the revelation. Sa'd had his issues, and we're not about to discuss him and how he dealt with the situation at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and how he ridiculed the question of Amir al-Mu'mineen when he said, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni. He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, tell me how many hairs in my head. And that's when Imam Ali alayhi salam told him, I can tell you there is a shaitan in your home. And he could not believe that his son would be the one killing the son of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But Umar ibn Sa'd, the son of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, who had such a connection, and he was a scholar in their time. He was considered a scholar, a speaker. He would recite the Quran. He would lead Jama'ah. In fact, when they were on the day of Ashura, when they were about to pray Fajr, Salatul Fajr, the enemy prayed, by the way. Imam Hussein led the believers and his army, or his family members and companions, led them for Salat, and the cursed Umar ibn Sa'd led the army of Yazid and Ibn Ziyad. He led the army for Salatul Fajr, la'natullah alayh, in the presence of the Imam of the time, in the presence of the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, before the event of the day of Ashura, Umar ibn Sa'd, looking at someone like Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, or the two other young men who joined from the army of Yazid, and eventually on the day of Ashura they joined, because Hur was not the only one, but he was a prominent figure. There were two young men who, when they heard the Imam calling Hal min Nasirin Yansuruna, they came. They ran to the army of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They fought and they were martyred, or in some narrations, one of them martyred and one of them saved by his tribe, injured. Nonetheless, Umar ibn Sa'd, looking at these people, he definitely would have said, I am better. I am Umar ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and I am a scholar, I am a head in my tribe, I am this, I am that. Then what happened? He on that day, he went to Asfal al-Safirin, the lowest of the low. And someone like Hur went to the highest of the high. Hur was not someone who had a claim to be a companion, and he was a warrior. He was a general, army general. Did not have a claim of piety or anything of that nature. Therefore, he definitely, that arrogant, that ignorant, would have said, I am better. If we look at that as an example, and we look at ourselves today, I might think I'm better than this, that, and the other. However, in the end, they may be in a much better place than I am, or I would be. Wal hayadu billah, I slip and make a mistake, and they repent and they get higher in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. no one knows about the ending. We should constantly ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala husnul aqibah, to have the good ending. And when we look at others, we should always say to ourselves, they could be better than us. We don't know. That is the second realization, or second point, the reflection and the realization. The third point is that we have to understand that it is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me something, whatever it is, guidance is from Him. Wealth, health, looks, voice, whatever it is that you think you possess, that you believe makes you better than others, you did not get it from yourself. One who believes I got it from myself was who? Was Qarun, La'natullah alayh. Qarun, he was amongst the people of Musa ala nabina wa alayhi wa salam. He was with them. Kana min qawmi Musa. But he was tested with wealth. He was wealthy. In fact, he was related to Musa, distant relative of Musa ala nabina wa alayhi wa salam. Yet he thought he was better. He thought he deserved. He says, "Utituhu ala ilmin indi." I got it because I deserve it. I know, I have the knowledge, I worked hard. What happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed his entire estate. Everything that he had. خَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ. Him with his wealth, with his estate, everything went down. Call it sinkhole here in Florida, makes sense. You know, when a sinkhole happens, sometimes everything disappears, gone. You cannot get anything, that's it. And if a person is sleeping in their home and it happens, it's gone. خَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ. Everything was gone. Then those who were looking at him, فَأَصْبَحَ الَّذِينَ يَتَمَنَّوْنَ. Those who were wishing and hoping, we wish we, يَا لَيْتَ عِنْدَنَا مِثْلَ مَا عِنْدَ قَارُونَ. We wish we had what Qarun had. Those people at that point said what? وَيْكَأَنَّ اللَّهَ. It is real that it is God who gives and who withholds.